that door closed over there?
Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, March 29th, 2023, 9:30 meeting. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
The usual opening remarks. For those of you who have not been here before, those of you who have been here before will obviously know the procedures we follow. But for those of you who have not come to see us on a prior occasion, the way it works is that we allow the applicant to present their case. Then if there are any objections, we give the objectants the ability to come before us and voice their objections, and then we allow the applicant to sum up. All right, we have a court reporter taking down all of the dialogue. We're live streamed. You can watch us on video. We're on about 11 o'clock at night. So we would appreciate no one talking over anyone else, because that presents a problem for the court reporter. All right? Do we have any adjournments, Patrick?
Mr. Chairman, we have one request for adjournment. Case 20623, East Meadow, Dr. David J. Miller. Renewal of grant to use premises for non-residential dental office with apartment, also known as 467 Newbridge Road.
Why he wants to adjourn it.
Just your name and address for the record.
My name is Johnny Sabaro, and I'm an associate with Forcelli Deegan Tirana LLP with offices at 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Suite 1010, Uniondale, New York, 11553. Thank you all for having me this morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
What is the reason for the adjournment request?
Sure. As mentioned in our letter to the board dated March 20th, 2023, Bill Benesso, who is the attorney on this application, is out of town and requesting a 1 week adjournment.
We'll grant the 1 year. Is that okay?
Bill would be upset if he heard that I said 1 year.
I think he might.
1 week adjournment of the hearing for this application. Specifically requests that the matter be placed on the April 5th, 2023 calendar.
All right, well, it's just a renewal. So.
Correct.
I don't know why.
Mr. Chairman, that date and time, 9 o'clock, 9:30?
9:30?
Correct. That's
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay.
Okay. I don't have any other requests for adjournment.
Okay.
First, we have
First
case
case.
20223 through 20323, Elmont, DLMJ Incorporated. Renewal of grants to park storage bins in Business Res C District for permission to park in Res C District and parking in front setback area, also known as 1389 Hempstead Turnpike.
Do we have anyone here on the case? We do. Good morning.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
James Battaglia, 1389 Hempstead Turnpike, Elmont.
And you are the owner. Okay. This is a renewal case to park storage bins in a business residency district. The building department inspected the premises on August 19, 2022, and found that you were in compliance with all previous conditions granted by this board, imposed by the board. Do you have anything else to say?
No?
That's your case. All right. Do we have any questions? That's the one.
Violation 89-9A, open building permits.
Hold on.
Let's see.
Did we get a search sheet? We just,
Where is it?
Dawn, we just need to find a search sheet. Do they run a search sheet on renewal? Because there's a violation of open building. Sir, there's a notation on the inspection report of some sort of violation of an open building permit. Does that ring a bell?
I own the property 22 years. I own the property 22 years. This is my 5th time here. The inspector told me that it was an open permit. I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
Didn't come up on the title when I purchased the building. He said it was in the 60s or 70s.
Did he give you?
1986.
1986,
The way it was.
96, 206. Well, I don't own it since then. Does it say what it is?
Did he give you, so on here, the terminology used, where's the yellow sheet, is that the following violations exist. Open building permits, and then there's a number 86-9A1. I just want to know, did he give you an actual violation, or is he just noting there's an open
He
permit?
just noted that.
Okay.
I did go up to the building department to find out what this was, and they didn't know what it was either. When I went there, I spoke to a woman named Lauren.
Okay, Joe, how can he get a search sheet? Because we don't have one.
Dawn is checking the computer right now.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
want to push him aside?
well, we can, should we close this or just put it on hold?
No, let
Okay.
him slide over.
So what we're
TBC.
going to do is, the people who works in our office is going to go check so that you can get this cleared up now. It sounds like it's probably nothing, but at least you can find out what's showing up as open so you can figure out what you got to do later to close it. Other than that, so you want to just, so we'll just adjourn this temporarily. If you just sit over here so that when Dawn comes back, you can speak to her and then we can just put it back. That work? Okay.
Well orchestrated.
Okay. Next, we're going to call case 20423 through 20523, Merrick, Fred J. Jones. Renewal of grants to use premises for the office of 2 non-residential chiropractors in Res B district with apartment above for off-street parking and insufficient stall size, also known as 2260 Hewlett Avenue. Sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Dr. Fred Jones, 2260 Hewlett Avenue, Merrick, New York.
This is a renewal of grants to use the premises for the office of 2 non-resident chiropractors in the Res B district with an apartment above. The building department inspected the premises on January 23rd, 2023, and found that you were in compliance with all previously imposed conditions of this board. You have anything else to say? Anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you. I just wanted to get the renewal so I could, I've been there 37 years.
What else is he, I'm good.
Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Sir, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good day.
So he has.
All right. Okay. Patrick.
Okay, we're going to recall case 20223 through 20323 Elmont, DLMJ Incorporated. Renewal of grants to park storage bins in Business Res C districts for permission to park in Res C district and parking in front yard setback area, also known as 1389 Hempstead Turnpike. Sir, I have you sworn in from before.
Okay. You go ahead.
No.
Okay, sir, so we were able to find, you actually were issued a notice of violation in August 11th of 2022. The notice indicates that the violation was for maintaining construction without permits in violation of Article 86 of the town ordinance. What,
August of last year.
11th of 2022. So
This
let's
past
just,
year, on August? I mean,
no, let's start with, what construction was going on at the premises on or about?
oh, it might have been the bakery?
Is the bakery part of your business?
Not my business, they rent from me.
Okay, so,
But that was not 22, he's been in business longer than that.
Well, he was issued a violation in 22.
yeah, for maintaining construction with, is there construction still ongoing?
No,
Okay, and you're not aware of what construction is
not
right?
at all. I don't remember anyone coming down.
Okay, well, so I guess what we're gonna have to do is adjourn this case to another date so that you can go resolve this and find out what's going on. I'm glad to hear there isn't any construction ongoing right now.
How do I resolve it?
Well, that is for you to figure out, actually. I don't know. You're going to have to go, see, we don't issue these. So what we're doing is putting a renewal on hold while you resolve whatever the building department has as an issue. So I guess if it were me, I'd start with going up there and the inspector, you want to, we'll let you take a photograph of this. Okay, Dawn can let you, with your phone or something.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah, so I assume you're allowed to have tenants, but either way, take a photograph of this and the front of it, that's the inspection report, to which the inspector attached the violation. I would go up and and it shows you that the inspector was Corio, I guess. And so I guess that's where I'd start and see what you can find out up there. And then I assume you'll have to reconcile that with
Your tenant.
your tenant or whomever.
You just said this is from November of 22?
No, it's August.
August 11th, 2022. But again, I'm going to take your phone and take a photo and the photograph of this. I think that's the easiest way. So you have it, okay? Here, just, you can put, and then just, here's the file. And then we're going to, before you go though, whoa.
Hold
Before
it.
you go, Patrick, how much time do you think you need to resolve this? Maybe a month? Okay, well, what do you think, a
Put
month?
it over for a month.
We're gonna adjourn this to a month from now. Are you gonna be available then? Okay. Presumably, presumably, but this, I hate to say this, we don't do this part, so I'm giving you as much information as I have, but if you go to the building department, they drive that bus. So May 10th, will that work for you? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that file. Okay, Mr. Chairman.
May 10, 9:30. Patrick?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Corio might be up there now. I believe the inspectors leave to go to the field at 10:30.
Yeah, so dash up there.
What did they say?
Sounds like
We haven't done this.
Okay.
206. Where's 2?
Next, we'll call case 20723 through 20823, East Meadow. Dennis and Tina Guyadine. Variance, lot area occupied, construct addition attached to dwelling. Variance, side yard maintain 2 AC units attached to dwelling, also known as 2551 Tonquin Street. Please stand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Diana Laspisa with Morano Expediting Services, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Suite 212, Levittown, New York, 11756.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm here on behalf of the property owners, Dennis and Tina Guyadine, and we're requesting permission from the board for relief from the following. The property is zoned Residence B, and the maximum lot area occupied allowed is 27.5%. We are proposing 30.56%. This is to construct a new sunroom addition off the rear of the existing dwelling. We are also here before you for to maintain the AC units in the side yard. The minimum side yard setback required is 5 feet, and we are requesting to maintain the 4.5-foot setback. When my client purchased the property in 2014, he was not aware, the AC units were existing, and he wasn't aware that they were existing illegally. So it wasn't until we went into the building department to make the application for the sunroom is when it was brought to our attention that the AC units were in a non-conforming location and needed to be legalized amongst other structures. The sunroom will be unheated. It will be flush with the first floor elevation of the home. Both variances are about a 10% relaxation of the code, so we don't feel that they are very substantial. And that is it, if the board has any questions.
Do I have any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Spisa, you'll be, less Spisa,
Do
you'll
I
be
have a
notified by
second?
mail the board's decision once it's rendered.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Next, we have cases 20923 through 21223 and 21723. Belmore, Gerard Trimboli. Variance, rear yard, maintain trellis attached to dwelling. Variance, side yard, maintain AC unit attached to dwelling. Variance, side yard, maintain generator attached to dwelling. Maintain pool filter not permitted in side yard. Maintain pool heater not permitted in side yard. Also known as 2636 Francis Street. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and address for the record.
Dennis Oliver, 924 Newbridge Road, Belmore, New York.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you? All right.
You didn't?
She's handing them out, Joe.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Good morning,
Oliver.
I'm here representing Gerard Trimboli, 2636 Francis Street, Belmore. We're seeking permission to maintain a trellis, AC units, generator, a pool filter, and a pool heater. Those last four are in the side yard. For the AC unit, we're required to have a 5-foot side yard. We're requesting 4 feet. The generator, again, that's supposed to be 5 foot. We are again requesting 4 feet on that. The pool filter and the pool heater were placed in the side yard because of the location of the pool was a little inconvenient to put the heater and the filter itself in the rear yard. So from an aesthetic point of view, the owner decided to put it in the side yard instead of in the rear yard. So it just made use of the property easier. And again, they would be holding the same 4 feet that the AC units and the generator are going to be holding.
Where 5 is what's required.
Correct.
And then for the trellis, you need rear yard.
Of 15 feet, and we're proposing 14.
So 1 foot variance.
1 foot variance on the rear, yes. And I do have a consent letter signed by 6 of the 14 owners in the area. It should be noted that the 2 adjoining property owners, most specifically the one owner on the one side where the generator and all those other equipment is, he has no objection to the variances being granted.
We'll take those into evidence. Is that your case?
That is my case, sir.
Do I have any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Oliver, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Do I have a second?
Have a good day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case 21323 through 21523, Oceanside. Robert Verderosa, construct cabana with bathroom and shower higher and larger than permitted with less than required yard setback. Special exception for proposed second accessory structure, accent wall higher than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum. Special exception for proposed third accessory structure, outdoor bar, higher and larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum, also known as 3499 Anchor Place. Gentlemen, please stand. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Please take a seat. State your name and address for the record.
James J. Stout. I live at 2 Gregg Lane, East Northport, New York. And I am here this morning representing Mr. Robert Verderosa, who lives at 3499 Anchor Place in Oceanside, is Residence B zone and an AE8 flood zone. Just a little quick backstory on this case, why we are here today. In March of 2017, Robert suffered a stroke, and to make matters worse, due to a medical mistake, was diagnosed with what's called locked-in syndrome, meaning that he would only be able to move his eyes. Currently, he is confined to an electric wheelchair, and he gets physical therapy 3 times a week. This new pool and hot tub that he had installed is going to help him with his hydrotherapies. The backyard of his home is going to be used partially for his therapy and also as an oasis for him to have some place where he can relax and maybe entertain with friends. So then, as far as the variances that we are looking at today, we have an accessory structure. That's going to be the cabana. And we are looking for relief of 4 foot, 5 inches from the height. We're looking at a height of 11 foot, 8 inches.
Oh, hold on. Sir, do me a favor.
Yep.
On that cabana, you need height larger, as you've indicated, and side yard. So if you, just tell us what you propose and what, like, for example, height, you're allowed 9 feet. What do you propose? Larger, you get 144 square feet. What do you propose? Side yard, I thought, because just a moment ago, I thought you were giving me side yard.
Okay, should I start with side yards? Would you?
No, it doesn't matter. Just go in that way, like, here's what is allowable and here's what I propose.
Okay. So the cabana is to be no larger than 7 foot 3 inches in overall height. Right, so we have a height of 11 foot 8 inches. So
No, you're allowed 9.
You're allowed 9.
So versus 11, so it's less significant of a request. And so your height you propose is what?
Oh, it would be 2 foot 8 inches over.
11.8.
11 foot 8.
11 foot 8 inches.
11 foot 8 is going to be the total.
Okay. And you're allowed 144 square feet, and what are you proposing?
We are proposing 196
Okay.
square feet. Now, the difference in the square footage is due to the fact that this cabana is going to be used as a bathroom, so that my client does not have to go, if he's having his therapy in the pool, all the way back into the house, up to the first floor of the house. This cabana is being laid out in such a way that it's ADA compliant, which allows for a much bigger footprint. That is why we are asking for this relief of the
Right,
cubic.
and the first floor of the applicant's house is also elevated, I think. So that
Or
does
in the
make it
flood zone, yes.
more of a difficult trick. Okay.
More of a difficult trip to get all the way into the house and up to the first level where the next bathroom would be.
Okay, and side yard, what are you proposing? You're required 5?
We are proposing a side yard of 3 feet.
Okay. So the second accessory structure.
Second structure is going to be the outdoor covered bar area.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 2 is actually the accent wall. The accent wall, this is just a feature. It literally is just a wall that is going to be a mounting place for a television screen.
Okay, and you need height larger than permitted and horizontal maximum.
Right, our overall height is going to be 10 foot 1 inch.
Okay,
So we're looking for relief of 1 foot 1 inch.
right.
And then the maximum horizontal dimension should not exceed 12 feet. Again, this is just a wall, but we are looking at a maximum horizontal distance of 24 feet.
Okay,
So it is relief that we are asking for of 12 foot.
right, and you need larger than permitted, I think, on that one too, don't you? Higher than permitted, no, I don't, I guess you don't, And then go ahead and get to the third one.
And our third one is going to be an accessory outdoor covered bar structure. This is going to be our third accessory structure. The overall height on this will not exceed the 9 feet. The relief that we're requesting is 3 foot 6 inches, 3 foot 6 inches in height for a total of, oh, I'm sorry, we are over on the height. It is going to be 12 foot 6 inches total, so we're looking for relief of 3 foot 6 inches on the height.
Okay, and you need
then-
horizontal and larger on
Yeah.
that.
The maximum horizontal dimension shall not exceed 12 feet. We are going to be in one direction at 17.5. So we're looking for requested relief on that of 5 foot 6 inches.
And I think you need larger on that one, do you?
The overall size shall not exceed the 144. The relief requested then, since we're going to be at 175,
Okay,
the requested relief is 31 square feet.
okay. And for the second accessory structure, the wall, you're going to need a special exception, but you pretty much covered the underlying facts necessary for us to evaluate that.
Yes.
I'm done.
Is that your case, sir?
Yes, it is.
Sir, you are here in what capacity? What is your name and your address? Oh,
Robert Verderosa, I'm the owner. I'm the owner of the property.
He's the father.
I'm the father.
okay.
I'm Rob's father.
He's right.
Do you have anything to add, sir?
Why'd you show me that?
Yes. No, I'm not,
Any questions from the board?
I don't know.
Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Sir, you and your client will both be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you. and have a
Second.
nice day.
Thank you very much.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Oh,
Oh, we didn't,
where's the sign-in sheet?
and we didn't call. Right, so,
Okay. You're going to withdraw that motion.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I withdraw my motion.
Okay. The other people, if you could,
Yeah, you guys,
all right. Do we have another? How many of you are going to speak, folks? Okay. Come up.
we're grabbing you another chair. I guess, no?
Only two are going to speak.
And speaking, raise your right hand.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa Casey, 3031 Davis Place, Oceanside.
Okay. Sir?
Alfred Rossi, 3032 Davis Place, Oceanside.
Okay. And are you going to speak or not? Okay, you've been sworn in? Patrick,
She didn't swear in.
Patrick, she was not sworn in.
Florence Rossi, 3032 Davis Place, Oceanside.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
I would just like to begin by saying that by no way are we here to impede upon the well-being of Robert, the son. Our issue is not with his well-being. We certainly only wish him the best.
Mr. Rossi?
Okay.
You're
Going to
next.
present some papers that I for you to look at. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, it came apart. 1, 2. I just made 3 copies, so you all have a copy to look at.
Dawn, do you want to, Dawn, you'll show one set?
No, I've seen them already, thank you.
No, these are all the same. So I know there's multiple judges, so they can share the papers if they want. Yes, that's right.
Do you,
So I'm,
we'd like to locate the.
yes, so we're
Yeah.
the homes that are in the, his backyard.
I found.
It's on a cul-de-sac?
Yes, so we're on a cul-de-sac on one end, and then when I exit my backyard, I have a view of his backyard.
Wait,
Okay.
so do you live with them? Because they have an address.
No, we're next
No, no,
door
no.
to each other.
So you're,
So they also are the property that faces
I found them. Yeah, what's your address?
3031.
Because you didn't put it, that's why we can't find you.
3031, okay. 303.
Yeah, where do you see the address?
Okay. If you look at picture number 1, you can see the layout of the property. Our property is number 1, their property is number 2, and her property is number 3. You can see the way our houses back into their property.
Correct.
Okay?
All right, so let's hear it.
If you go to drawing number 2, this I drew up. It's actually 1/8 to a foot actual footage of the drawing. And what you can see is they're proposing to build the 2 structures right up against my property, covering 75% of my property, where they had a backyard of 140 feet with a total of 280 feet of side yard. They chose to put the 2 pieces right up against my property, covering 75% of my property.
What do you mean by covering 75% of your?
Well, if you look at the drawing, this is an actual drawing, and it's showing where they're putting the bar and the cabana.
You mean the site plan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it.
yeah.
I'm just not processing what do you mean by 75% of your property?
Well, if you look at it, the height is covering 75% of my viewable.
I think part of the problem is that I believe they're requesting to move 7 feet closer to the property line, where I think you need 10 feet away from the property line in order to build a structure. And they're requesting to be only 3 feet closer to the property. So they're looking for 7-foot extension. for the cabana and the bar.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I believe that they're requesting to move 7 feet closer to the property line so that they're only 3 feet away
That's only
for the two structures.
2 feet is the variance requested. It has to be 5.
It has to be 5.
Asking for 3 instead of 5.
Okay.
My objection is that when they planned this whole yard, they had a 140-foot backyard, and they planned it to put 2 pieces of the structure right up against my property, not considering, us as homeowners. They're putting a 12-foot structure right up against my property, which is covering my whole backyard.
Well, I will say that one of the pieces of testimony was that this was to facilitate the therapy in the pool, which makes sense that he would want it near the pool. I don't think there's any, I'm not suggesting that it won't impact you if you think it will, but it would be silly to put it.
Rejecting the pool or for his son, but I can't see why a bar is necessary for somebody that's an invalid. It's not part of his, his need. The pool is part of his need, the bathroom is part of his need, but a 17.5-foot bar is not part of his need, okay? Okay, if you look at figure number 3, if you would, okay? I'm not looking to be hard or unreasonable. He can keep the 17.5-foot bar, he can keep it 12-foot, but move it down that is not 100% in front of my property. If he moved it to the corner of my property, at least 11 foot of it or 10 foot of it will be behind my shed and not in my face, and only part of it would be.
Where are you proposing to put it? And which it?
If you look at from figure 1, on page number 2 to page number 3.
Is this your own drawings or the site plan?
I'm only asking to move it down.
But which it?
They're his drawings.
When you say asking to move it down, I'm not sure what it
You mean the bar? The bar.
Look at number. No words.
Okay, that helps me.
The only thing I'm requesting, keep it, you want 17.5 foot, fine. You want 12.5 foot high, fine, but move it down at least to the corner of my property where my shed on the corner will be blocking part of the structure.
So you have a shed and what is the other thing back there, the white thing? Is it 1 shed or 2?
1.
What's in the, do you have a hot tub maybe in the corner? Something, oh, do you have a gazebo or something?
They're on the other end.
Yeah, across, on the 2 corners of the backyard, I just see squares.
Correct.
I can't tell what they are.
Correct.
And so, okay, I see what your request is. One of the issues I can see already is that's where the AC units already are on the subject property,
And
if I'm looking at it correctly.
If you look at my page number 4, I know it's a lot of work, but this is the actual plot plan that you have in front of you. And if you see where they're proposing the outdoor bar, and you can see where I moved it down, it's not unreasonable what I'm asking for. It's still in the center of all their entertainment, where their fire pit is, where their main patio is, and everything else. I'm not saying take the structure.
I get it. The one thing I'm seeing here is, it looks like the AC units are where your request, I can't, there's some little squares along the fence that I can't tell what they are. Have you spoken to the applicant about whether or not?
They never approached me when they were building it or anything else, asking if I had any concerns or anything else.
Wait, when they were building what?
This is a construct.
Yeah.
It's not a
Oh, so yeah.
maintain.
When they
Is
were
it all-
building what? Yeah.
No, when they drew up these plans, they never spoke to us at all about what they were doing or anything else.
Okay, are you
No,
saying?
just to clarify, the structures are not there. The proposed structures are not there.
Correct.
Okay, because when you said when they were building it, that.
Yeah.
So what they have put in is the pool and the hot tub already.
Right, they're not here for
Correct.
that, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Hi. The only other thing with the bathroom structure, again, you know, I understand it has to be accessible to the sun. If they could just maybe perhaps move it across to the other side, because the neighbors on the other side of their property
If you look
have,
at my-
stop talking,
okay.
please. If the neighbors on the other side of their fence have a structure already there, so if they were to move their bathroom on the opposite side of the yard, it wouldn't interfere with the other neighbors, and it certainly wouldn't interfere with us.
it doesn't look like there's enough space for it. There's only 12 feet over there, and this is 8 feet wide, and it doesn't look to me like it would be, one would be able to get around it with, particularly in a wheelchair, but even regular.
If you look at picture number 5, it's an actual picture of the property.
Patrick?
I don't, where's picture number 5?
Is that it?
Okay, yeah, and what do we
You
see?
look at that, you can see where the pool is now, okay? And
Well,
that
this is not
picture-
the right picture then. This doesn't even have a pool.
This picture.
The pool is the concrete structure on the right-hand side.
Yeah, okay, it's not easy. Okay,
Right.
Go ahead.
If you look at that, where the pool structure is now, you can see his neighbor has a cabana right up against the property line also. And if you count the sections of the fence, he's got almost 60 feet of backyard after the pool before the water.
Oh, I got it.
If you keep all of that clear where he's proposing the bar and the cabana, it would be wheelchair accessible to go around the pool that way and into a new structure on the other side of the property.
Yeah, well, it's possible, but what I'm saying is, what appears to be the space on the other side of the pool that where these folks are suggesting they would prefer the cabana is 12 feet wide. The cabana is 8 feet wide. So if we were to put it there, there's 2 feet on each side unless they get a side or variance. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty tight fit, particularly with a wheelchair. So I suppose you could put it 1 foot off the fence and leave 3 feet, but that's still pushing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure.
55 feet, it's 55 foot of backyard after the pool. On the other side of the pool, he's got 12 foot from the property line to the pool.
Right.
He can go down the 12 foot and go into the cabana. He can go around the hot tub side and go into the cabana. He can also build a bathroom on his first floor of the structure. He has a sandy structure where there's no living on the first floor. It's completely just a concrete walls. If he was worried about a handicapped bathroom, he could build the bathroom right off his patio and build it inside. It's not necessary.
I'm not sure if he's allowed a bathroom in the FEMA level. It's possible. I'm not sure. You're not allowed living space, but I don't know. Mr. Bogle? No. Anyway, I'm not sure he's allowed, but we, okay, we'll take your suggestions, but
Can I just say something? So I've been living there for the last 22 years. I started living there with my parents when they purchased the home. They built the home themselves. It was going to be their retirement home. I'm sorry.
okay.
And my father passed away. So I moved in with my family. I have 3 little girls. And I'm there taking care of my 83-year-old mother. And I believe they purchased the property 2 or 3 years ago. We were very happy to have new neighbors because the old neighbors weren't really taking care of the property. And it was a bit of an eyesore. So we were happy to have new neighbors. We are on Davis Place. We're a very welcoming neighborhood. We're very close to all of our neighbors. My kids call them uncle and aunt. And my daughter's very good friends with their neighbors on Anchor. And all we're asking for, and yes, our hearts break for what happened to their son, because he's right around my age, and if anything like that would ever happen to my husband, I would be devastated. But my kids enjoy the backyard, and to see big structures going up, you know, and to see, you know, part of, you know, the water view being obstructed when it's unnecessary. There's no reason why all of these things, if he'd just come to us and spoken to us, we would have been like, wow, this is great, you know, we're so happy for you. But there's no reason why they couldn't have put it on the other side. There's already a big fence separating him from his neighbors. When his neighbors come out, it's not the first thing they look at. They have a long backyard to go out to.
Now, I don't see where it looks, you mentioned the water view, but the site plan I'm looking at, and I'm somewhat eyeballing it, I'm looking at over the satellite view and the site plan at the same time. And it doesn't really look to me like, as a matter of fact, it doesn't look like much of it is even behind your house, to be honest. In terms of the only thing that appears to be a little bit behind your house, if I'm looking at this right, is this proposed cabana.
Right.
Maybe 7 feet of it about.
Right.
Is on that corner of but that's the corner opposite your water view, it seems.
Right. He's already put like cement plates for the pool equipment, which is directly in front of my house, but I guess you don't need a permit for that.
Yeah, he wants a 1-foot variance, I think, the pool. Did he ask for a 1-foot variance on the? No, he didn't. So yes, he has to get a permit, but he's not seeking any relief because that's his rear yard. But that won't be, you have a fence, right? I don't believe the pool equipment may be visible over your fence. In terms of I'm just trying to address the issue of when you raised about visibility, because I'm not really seeing how any of the proposed issues
I just don't, you know, like, I don't know where everything is going to shift, if it's not going to shift, how close it is to the property. Part of it is on the corner of my property.
Yes,
I believe the cabana that he's
7 feet of the cabana would
Right.
be. And now if we were to deny his side yard setback, he would still put it there if we're approved. He'd just put it 2 feet further away from your fence. Let me just give you, since you don't know, let me just give you one of an extra site so you guys can have it. Surely we have extras, right? Where are all the site plans? That one? Yeah, you guys can keep that. Okay, so we have the visibility issue, and you have the issue of too close to your fence, and you don't want anything on your side of that side of the land. At least the covered bar, you'd prefer it shifted more toward the corner. I don't know if those are air conditioning units, if that's going to be an issue there, but, okay, so tell us.
Well, we don't truly have waterfront view.
I can't hear you.
We don't truly have waterfront view when we're sitting
Can you pull it a little closer?
when we're sitting in our yard, we don't necessarily have waterfront view. We have view of Robert's backyard. And I just don't feel like sitting, you know, it's conducive to me sitting there relaxing and just staring at the two high 12-foot structures when I only have 13 feet to look through that won't have the two 13-foot, 12-foot structures. You know, I have 13 feet.
Both structures are right up against our property and
They're
high.
3 feet, they're proposed at 3 feet away right now.
I'm just
And
asking,
they're 12-foot high.
I'm just asking to move it so part of it, a good part of it is behind my shed. And the cabana can be, the other side of the yard, he's got 55 feet of backyard to put a cabana, and it would be up against his neighbor. Because even if you look at that last picture, if you look to the right of it, his fence is 6 foot, okay? And he's got 2 foot of block wall that he's lower. So he already has an 8-foot high fence on that side of the property. So anything put up against that, the only thing that's going to be sticking over the fence is the little bit of peak, and it's going to be behind the other guy's cabana. It's not going to be any obstruction to them or anything else, you know.
Do you think it might be productive if you went in the back room for a while and had a little bit of a discussion? Maybe you could resolve some issues. Otherwise, we're going to make a decision.
Because I hate to do this to our backyard, you know. I mean, the value of my property would go, you know, and I know he has the son and everything else, but,
Just some consideration.
you know, I just had prostate cancer, okay? I went through my treatments and everything else.
You've been there for, how many, 40 years, 50 years have you guys lived there?
So, having a little discussion in the,
My backyard is my home, where I go and relax.
All right, stop. All right, don't cry.
perhaps you might want to have
Representative has
Yeah.
indicated he's.
the representative for the applicant has indicated it might be productive if you went in the back room over there and had a little bit of a discussion before we close this case.
Yeah, so we're just going to.
We're going to hold it. We'll hold it until, and if you can resolve some issues that might be beneficial for all parties.
Patrick, let the applicant's rep know that, to let you know when they're done.
Pardon?
Yeah, let's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to reopen case 20223 through 20323, Elmont DLMJ Incorporated, also known as 1389 Hempstead Turnpike.
No, but why make them come back?
Because how are you going to control it?
Sir, just your name and address for the record.
James Battaglia, 1389 Hempstead Turnpike, Elmont.
Okay.
So do I have a motion?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I first withdraw my motion well, it wasn't even my prior motion. Oh, I didn't have one because we adjourned. So I'll just make the record. So let the record reflect that the applicant went to the building department, spoke with the individual who had written the notice of violation, Mr. Corio. Mr. Corio also came down with the applicant and informed the board that while it was technically written up as a notice of violation, it is for maintaining construction without the benefit of a permit, that in fact it was a very, very old open permit, and the wording was not exactly very useful in describing the prior incident, but it was an open permit from a time well in excess of when well before when the applicant owned it. The applicants owned it for something about like 25 years, I think you said?
22 years.
Okay, whatever it is. And that Mr. Corio informed the board that the applicant knows how to close the old open permit and that the applicant intends to do so that we can complete our hearing of the case today, so that you don't have to return to, at least to a hearing. And then you'll provide us, once it's taken care of, we'll hold your case on reserve, the renewal on reserve, until you provide the office with something indicating that you've, in fact, resolved what is apparently just a technicality, administrative technicality. Okay, so that you don't have to come back for a hearing on May 10th.
Who do I show that?
You'll go to the zoning office down, and whenever you resolve it and they give you something indicating it's closed, if nothing else, they could probably print a new search sheet once they close it indicating it's not an open permit. And then at that time, we'll address the issue, our decision on your matter, your renewal. But you won't have to come back for a hearing.
Very good, thank you. So no.
Okay, let me make sure that the chairman has anything else.
Do I have any other questions from the board?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on decision calendar. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision. Once it's rendered, again, we won't render it till you give some indication that that's been resolved.
Very good.
Second?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Chelsea Horowitz. Patrick?
Okay. Next, we have case 21623 Oceanside, Chelsea Horowitz. Variance, front yard average setback, maintain roofed over open porch attached to dwelling, also known as 225 Foxhurst Road. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Chelsea Horowitz, 225 Foxhurst Road, Oceanside, New York. Occupant, owner, and attorney. Good morning.
Morning. Just time.
Ready?
Go ahead.
I'm here for a variance to maintain the front yard setback for an existing structure that was built in 1864. I purchased the home last April of 2022, and upon purchasing the home, came to the realization that many things were not legalized. So I'm in the process of trying to obtain all necessary permits, and this was the last missing puzzle piece in which I was notified that the setback for the front yard was not in compliance with Article 7, Section 7D.
Okay, and so just to make the record,
Sorry.
the front yard average setback that you are supposed to maintain, are you a corner lot?
No.
Someone put here that you're 25, that you require 25, but that's not accurate.
I think the
corner lot.
25 is the average, but the necessary amount for where I am is 46.812.
No, 25 is not the average. 25 is if you're on a corner with.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was, anyway, and then there is some other indication about the average 46.81, and you're proposing 18.5. I realize the house was built in 1864, and do we know when the porch was put on?
No, everything that was done to the house was unfortunately or fortunately before I purchased the home, so I'm not able to tell you when that was done.
And even the house, when it was constructed, or at least as it currently stands without the porch, maintains only 23.4.
That's correct.
And that's the only relief you request.
Yes.
I have any questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Horowitz should be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. By the way, that's a very cute house and a very cute porch. The porch is really cute.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next, we have case 21823, Levittown Chamber of Commerce, amusement rides special event, duration May 25th, 2023 through May 29th, 2023, also known as Town Hempstead Parking Lot L2.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Richard M. Pavone, 308 East Meadow Avenue, East Meadow, appearing as the agent for the Levittown Chamber of Commerce, requesting to hold a special event at the Town of Hempstead parking lot L2. To the left of me is Tara Casano. She's part of the Chamber of Commerce.
Tara Casano, Office Manager for the Chamber, 756 Woodbridge Lane East, Montauk, New York, 11793.
So if approved, dates would be Thursday, May 25th, 2023, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday, May 26th, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday the 27th, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., Sunday the 28th, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., and then just an amendment on the Monday, the 29th is 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's correct. I'm sorry, till 12 p.m. on Monday, the 29th.
Wait,
It's just a change from our submission
to 12 p.m.?
to 12 p.m.
It's 12 p.m., it's Memorial Day.
Wait, isn't 12 p.m. noon?
I'm sorry, 12 a.m., which would be 12 midnight, I'm sorry.
5 p.m. to 12.
Yes, that is correct.
Just to, hold on, to back
11:59.
up. On Monday, the hours are 12 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay, so that's the confusion.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, that's good. You want me to sign it? Okay, thank you. The event will be managed by Dreamland Amusements, Inc. They have been handling this for many years for the Levittown Chamber of Commerce. It's actually, we believe, the 25th year or plus for this event at that location. Following agencies have been notified in writing by the Chamber: Town of Hempstead Sanitation, Town of Hempstead Parks and Recreation, Town of Hempstead General Services for the permission to use the lot with a town board resolution that was recently issued and submitted to this board. The chief of the Levittown Fire Department was notified. Wantor Levittown Volunteer Ambulance Corps was notified. Nassau County Board of Health for any food services via Dreamland Amusements through their vendor. The 8th Precinct Commander was notified, and also the NCPD Auxiliary Police, which also has a presence at the event during the days that are noted. Sanitation cleanup is handled by Dreamland Amusements and the Town of Hempstead Sanitation. Security is handled by Dreamland Amusements, Inc. As noted on the radius map, over the years that I've been presenting this, we still are providing a buffer between the residential homes and the actual parking lot where the rides and the event will be held. There'll be a total of 18 to 24 rides, which are inspected by New York State Department of Labor before the actual event will open. Town Board Resolution 212-2023 was issued by the Town Board to allow the parking lot to be used by the Chamber of Commerce for this event, and that's our case.
What about music by 10?
Music usually stops at 10 p.m.
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that case 218 of 2023, the Levittown Chamber of Commerce special event to happen on between May 25th of 2023 to May 29th of 2023 be approved as requested.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you very much.
Mr. Vaughn, no rain dates?
No, it's rain or shine.
Ooh.
Thank you and have a great day.
You too.
Be well.
Next, we have case 21923, Franklin Square. Anthony Trombetta, maintained two-car detached garage with roof over patio higher than permitted and forward of the dwelling on Malvern Avenue, also known as 1134 Gavern Boulevard. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? State your name and address for the record.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. I'm representing Anthony Trombetta of 1134 Gavern Boulevard in Franklin Square. The property is located on the northwest corner of Gavin Boulevard and Malvern Avenue in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to maintain a two-car detached garage with roof over patio higher than permitted and forward of the dwelling on Malvern Avenue. Malvern Avenue is a paper street, and there is commercial property to the rear and east sides and a creek on the west side of the property. I would like to submit an overview of the property and also a letter from the neighbor across the street indicating she has no objections to the board granting the variance. A front yard variance was previously granted in 1964 under building permit 6400059 for a 21 by 24 detached two-car garage. The garage was in poor shape, and the owner did not like the fact that it was so close to the house. So the original garage was 8 feet from the house. He rebuilt a new garage that is now 14 from the house, making the setback on the paper street of Malvern Avenue to be 5 feet. He also, yes, there's a picture of the overview of the property that would give you an idea of how it looks. It's paper street on one side, and then on the other side, there's a creek. You could probably see from the overview of the picture. Let me get my radius map here. Okay, the thin, where it says County of Nassau, is the creek. And then to the other side of the property is the paper street. Right.
And it's only the distance of basically the arms of the cross, right? It looks like it stops.
Yes, and then it's commercial property back there.
So your house garage is that structure in the photograph that's on the opposite side of the house than the creek?
Correct.
Okay, is it going to have doors at some point?
Yes, he got a stop work order, so he's anxious to get this finished up.
Now, you're here for the height?
Right.
If you gave that already, I apologize.
No, I haven't. The average height allowed is 12 feet, and the average height provided is 12.5 feet.
Okay, so it's de minimis. And then for being forward of the dwelling, I don't know if I've ever had that before, but tell us what you're allowed, or I guess you're just not allowed forward of the dwelling? Is it actually forward of the dwelling?
It's because that paper street, it's considered a corner piece of property.
Okay, and how far? Yeah, but it's forward. Either way, she said it was denied forward because this is completely considered a corner. This is a paper street. So it's that forward. That's what they told you.
That was my understanding from the plan examiner.
25. So it's the front yard setback technically on that side too. Really?
Yes, right.
Not just because I only have it for forward of dwelling. You know what I'm saying? I don't actually. Oh, I do have, no, don't. It's forward of the dwelling on Barber, right? No, on Malvern. It says on Malvern. Malvern is the paper street?
Right.
Yeah. But it's funny, it doesn't, no, it's forward of the dwelling, because that's, either way. So instead of, what, and it should probably have front yard setback.
Yeah, let's see what the denial is. The denial that I have from the plan examiner, it has an article in a section, but then it just says location. So I don't know if that helps at all. That's what the original variance for the original garage that was there was front yard variance in 64. No, well, that was built, and then he demolished that garage and built this garage. But that variance was for front yard.
Well, maybe when we deliberate, I mean, given that all the materials are accurately drawn in terms of the encroachment into that front yard, quote, front yard, if you will, so that the neighbors were on notice that where the structure was proposed, I don't know, maybe when we deliberate, should consider adding a front yard. But I guess they addressed that because they specifically didn't, I mean, did you have that discussion with the plans examiner or never came up? Or?
He just said it was the location because of the paper street.
All right. I have no further questions.
Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice
All
day.
in favor? Any opposed?
Next, we have case 220-23, near Westbury, Robert Richards. Variance, lot area occupied, maintained detached garage, also known as 948 Mirabelle Avenue. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Take a seat and state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Lisa Crocia with Permits R Us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, number 396, Syosset, New York, 11791. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm here representing Mr. Richards, who wishes to maintain and legalize a detached garage. This property is located in a Residence B zone. The detached garage puts the lot coverage to 30.46%, where the required is 27.5%. This is a minimal increase of 2.96%. The detached garage has existed for over 20 years without incident. To my knowledge, there are no complaints on file. Mr. Richards respectfully requests your approval.
The other items that are on the existing pool, that I assume has a building permit? Yes.
Correct.
And the existing rear one-story addition. Is that, let's see.
That was also a building permit closed out.
And then the maintained rear roofed over patio.
That is actually still open. They're awaiting this decision to just do a final inspection, and then it's closed out as well.
See, it's kind of like which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because if you're maintaining, why didn't When did the building department give you the maintain a roofed over for a lot area occupied? They picked on the garage. Could have been,
Right.
I was just curious.
Ms. Kachia, I apologize. If you, what is the, on the materials, the lot area occupied, oh, I just found, I only could find the one without the garage, so you're proposing 30.46.
Correct.
They could, they can't really use the garage if there's a gate, a fence and a gate.
Well, what kind of gate?
I think they use it more for storage.
Not a garage.
It's a storage facility, but it can be used as a garage if you were to change the gate, I guess, and whatnot on there, the fencing.
Yeah, but it's not.
Dawn, this is okay.
What do you want to do? I mean, a car can't fit in there.
Have you been to the property?
I haven't been to the,
Do you know what's in the garage at all?
Look, you see,
I don't know what's in the garage, to be honest, no. I mean, they have a pool with, it could be, you know, pool equipment and floaties and whatnot and things like that, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what's in there. Yes.
No further questions. Good?
Joseph,
No,
does he have any questions?
I don't think so. Let's close this.
Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Kachia, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you. Kim?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Next, we have case 221 of 23, Belmore, 221 Como Incorporated, doing business as Como Restaurant. Special exception to use part of premises for outdoor dining, waive off-street parking, variant rear yard, maintain walk-in cooler attached to existing building, also known as 221 Bedford Avenue.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Janice Whalen. I'm a, excuse me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You swear affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You say,
Thank you. Good morning again. My name is Janice Whalen. I'm appearing for the applicant. My office is 23 Green Street in Huntington, Suite 302. We appear before you this morning seeking variances and a special permit in connection to the Como Restaurant located at 221 Bedford Avenue in Belmore, adjoining municipal lots. Accompanying me this morning is Mr. Sean Mulryan, our traffic engineer, who performed a study and will present his findings. Our property is located in the Business X District. It's a fully developed site built in 1912. I have two exhibits that I'd like to share with the board. The first are the records of the Nassau County Assessor, indicating that the building was built in 1912. It was initially used as a bakery. My second exhibit is a permit that was issued for temporary outdoor dining in the beginning of the pandemic. So what we're seeking permission for is already in existence, and we're seeking to continue that use. Let's see. The husband and wife who operate this restaurant own the building. They purchased it about 5 years ago, and they live on the second floor. The business caters to local patrons and businesses and shoppers. The property is located in a downtown walkable area of Belmore. It's very charming. I apologize that they're only black and white, but I want to show you some pictures of the restaurant interior and the exterior, beautiful masonry walkway that houses the outdoor dining. It does not interfere with pedestrian walking at all. It's fully enclosed. The sidewalks are unencumbered. Again, the outdoor dining has existed, and it hasn't interfered. There are no complaints to my knowledge. The outdoor dining, I believe since about 2016, but legally it's existed under the temporary permit that I showed you. I believe it's 344 that was issued probably about 3 years ago during the pandemic. The building measures 2980 square feet. The restaurant measures about 1930 square feet. We've got 60 seats in total, 36 inside and 24 outside. Speaking with the husband and wife, they indicate to me that about 75% of the business is takeout. The large majority of in-house dining occurs at night and on the weekends and a little bit during lunch. There are bi-weekly small truck deliveries that happen in about 10 minutes, so no interference with, with traffic patterns. There's private carting that occurs here, and again, off hours.
One second. Are the trucks box trucks?
Excuse me?
Are they box trucks?
Small box trucks.
Okay.
They said that, they come from Queens, the deliveries, and they load and unload in 10 minutes.
And do they do it on Bedford Avenue, or do they go into the back?
I believe they go in the back because there's such an expansive, as you know, municipal parking lot, so it'd probably be easier to go in the back and it wouldn't interfere with any, any traffic on Bedford Avenue. I found in the Board of Appeals office a lot of precedent for special exceptions in this area. 10716 is 106 Bedford Avenue. Case number 101398, Bedford and Wilson, that's the International Cafe at 322 Bedford Avenue.
Was that for outdoor dining?
I didn't see any for outdoor dining, but nonetheless, there was special exception precedents in the area. I'm sure some exist, but I didn't see any in my research that I found.
Did that also need a parking variance?
They also had parking variances in those
Special
cases.
exception and a parking.
Correct. I believe just the nature and the geography of this area, there's very little on-street parking, and that's probably why the town in its wisdom built that large municipal lot, so it would enhance the walkability and sustain these local mixed-use buildings.
And that outdoor dining on that side of the property, that is all contained on their premises?
Fully contained.
Not into that.
If I could show you, there's a beautiful
wrought iron.
gate that would, prevent anybody from, contains the dining. There's fencing after the gate going towards the municipal lot, and that's part of this application, the ride-along. Although the fencing doesn't require any variances, it will be fully approved if this board looks favorably upon our application. I also found 62416 Morning Rose Cafe at 317 Bedford Avenue as special exceptions. We respectfully request that the board look favorably upon this application. The outdoor dining does not appear to disrupt any pedestrian access. It complements the neighborhood downtown area. The variances do not adversely impact any neighboring uses. They're not substantial. We're only seeking 6.8 feet for the rear yard addition where 10 feet is required. And again, it faces the municipal lot, so it doesn't really impact any other neighboring uses. And we don't believe that the relief we seek could be achieved by any other reasonable means. And with that, I'll turn over the presentation to our traffic engineer.
So that building all the way back is the cooler, obviously?
Correct.
What, just out of curiosity, what's the other one between the building and the cooler?
It's like an annex to the kitchen.
Okay.
And it's, I believe both of those structures have, well, the first structure has a permit. The second is the subject of this variance application.
And just to put it on the record, and I know Mr. Mulryan's going to go over it, what's the required parking? And
The required parking is 22 spaces. The code requires, oh, and I forgot to tell you, in addition to the husband and wife, there's 3 employees, a kitchen person, a waiter, and a sushi person, and I believe they all arrive together. So we have the husband and wife who live upstairs who don't require any parking, and the 3 employees. So 20 spaces would be required for the 60 seats, plus 2 employees, so there'd be 22 spaces required where unfortunately 0 are provided.
Mr. O'Ryan's going to tell us all about parking lot.
Do they have seating inside there?
They do. There's 36 seats inside.
How many?
36 seats inside, 24 outside.
So they could, I thought you just said there was 60 outside.
Sorry, 60 total.
Oh,
That'd be a pretty big outside area.
that's what I was going for.
No, it's only 24, and again, I really think it's probably most heavily used at night and on the weekends. During the week, they're open from 11:30 to 9:30. On the weekends, they extend 1 hour to 10:30.
Good afternoon, Shlomo Ryan, 1225 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York. I have a parking study that we prepared for the subject property, and we looked at the subject site, which is located directly in front of a large municipal lot to the rear. There's also a large municipal lot across the street. This subject property is also located approximately 1 block north of the Long Island Railroad, where there are large commuter parking lots. The parking lots that are located near the subject site have 12-hour and 3-hour parking limits. 12-hour parking limits, generally speaking, are for employees, where the 3-hour limits are for customers. We've looked at this site for the parking in this area for this application. We've also looked at this area in 2015 and 2016 for other applications. Once again, the subject site requires 22 parking spaces. 20 of those are related to the seating, and 2 of them are related to the employees. One of the questions that was asked is the breakdown of indoor versus outdoor. So there are 36 seats inside, which require 12 parking spaces, and 24 which are outside, which require 8.
The inside has its certificates, it's closed out. Is that correct, or am I?
I'm sorry.
The inside, as it exists without the outdoor dining, does it have a certificate of occupancy for the, whatever it is, 32 inside? With,
That wasn't mentioned as a variance in the denial.
does it have a certificate of occupancy without this application?
I apologize, that should be something that I know, and I'm looking at the search sheet. I don't see any COs on the search sheet. I do see that there were closed building permits, so I venture to guess that once those building permits were closed, they had to issue a certificate of approval or compliance, but I can provide that to the board this afternoon. I'll go upstairs and get it.
Having flashback memories of the East Meadow.
Yes.
Just for clarification, you said 24 in and 30 out, right?
36 in, 24 out.
Because my math wasn't working, because that's obviously because my ears weren't working. So it's 36 in.
24 out.
Okay, which yields 6.
Originally, this was a takeout restaurant, and then it was a takeout facility, and then converted in.
And the applicants have operated there. I know you said since 2016 they had outdoor, they had it legally during the COVID, but how long have they run the restaurant?
15 years.
In 2014, there was an application to construct interior alterations to make it a Japanese restaurant, which I believe was the applicant. That was building permit 142067.
So since 14 or for whatever?
They've operated for 15 years here.
What was that application like, the Japanese restaurant?
It said was issued, construct interior alterations to Chinese restaurant for takeout. Was the description in the search.
You see what
I do, and I'm going to run upstairs and get that.
Because, I mean, for the board to grant outdoor dining without the indoor dining area not being legal or possibly not being legal.
I understand you can't have an accessory use without a legalized permitted use.
Got it, Mrs. Whalen. You know what the deal is.
I would venture to guess that Mr. Jarwitz would not have issued that outdoor dining permit if it weren't fully permitted, but I certainly understand the board's concern, and I will follow up with that information.
And just to touch base on the area that is designated for outdoor dining, the space is located just south of an entrance to the municipal lot. There are sidewalks on either side of that entrance, so the parking area or the outdoor seating area is not next to the roadway, it's not next to the entrance. It's alongside a sidewalk, and there's a small landscape buffer from the sidewalk to the fence. So it's located in an area that does not interfere with pedestrian access. It has no interference with the vehicular flow in and out of the municipal lot. And the municipal lot, once again, is located directly behind the building. The subject site was built almost 100 years ago, or over 100 years ago, and was built without parking. There's no way for us to provide parking on the subject site, and the site has operated without issue for numerous years. So that's a brief conclusion of my study, and I have copies for the board, which I'd like to just submit into evidence.
And so the reasons that you feel the parking variance would not be detrimental to the community and/or to the applicant is because 75% of their, you said 75% of their business is takeout. They have the large municipal lot there that will provide any parking needed, and they serve the community in large part, which means they have a lot of walkers because they're in the walkable area. I think you
This is
testified.
really what every municipality.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Every municipality would like that downtown walkability that this community provides, and it's fully supported by that municipal lot.
Yep. So the lot, the legs, the takeout, the legs, the takeout, and the muni lot.
Yes.
Is that your case?
That is our case, but I will provide the documentation Mr. Pellegrini requested. I'll go upstairs and get that now.
This is the application for 247. Maintain rear addition, change of use from takeout to restaurant. That's not mentioned here, plus outdoor dining.
I wonder if they don't need relief for the change of use.
They're on the same application.
Right, but even if it's the application. Okay, so Mr. Pellegrini has pointed out that the application before us is 162847, which makes no sense. Why would it?
We had, Mr. Mulryan and I discussed this at length. That is not called out in the denial. The only three items called out in the denial are the rear yard setback, the special exception, and the insufficient parking.
Wait, so I want to finish the question.
Sure.
So if it is the case that 162847 is the application that has led to whatever's before us now, right? That application is to maintain the rear addition, change of use from takeout to restaurant and outdoor dining. My question is, clearly change of use is not before us, so the question is do you need relief for that? I'm assuming not. And that's why that piece of what was requested is not for us to address.
That's what we concluded. We had that same inquiry. It doesn't appear that there is relief requested because of those applications. They don't violate zoning in and of themselves, except for the fact that now we require 22 parking spaces, which is before you.
Yeah, the change of use made the parking, theoretically. The rear addition made the rear variance.
Correct.
Right? And the outdoor dining affected both parking and special exception.
Correct. Doesn't increase the required parking, except for what we've noted, 22 parking spaces.
And it generates a special exception for the outdoor dining.
Correct.
concept. I mean, I think that's how those translated to what's before.
It's interesting that we had that same question. We didn't understand the,
Great minds.
I don't know about that on my end, but we had that same question, and that's the same conclusion that we arrived at.
Seems the only logical errors. Does anyone have any other questions?
Do I have any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Whalen, Mr. Mulryan, you'll both receive a copy of the board's decision.
Do I have a
once it
second?
is rendered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Have a nice
will
day.
submit that document through the board office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we may just hold it on reserve, but it's a maintain anyway, right? Correct.
Right. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
What about?
Good afternoon.
A short break. We're going to have a short recess. We'll be back in 10 minutes?
We have to give the court reporter a chance to get the blood flow back in your hands.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, we're going to recall case 21323 through 21523, Oceanside Robert Verderosa, also known as 3499 Anchor Place.
After we hear from the applicant, then we'll have you guys switch, okay, and come up.
How did the discussions go?
Thank you. Okay. After speaking with the neighbors, we have come up with a couple of consents that we would like to put forth to the board. As it pertains to structure number 3, which is the outdoor bar structure, we would like to propose reducing the overall size by 3 feet.
Okay, hold on. So, the size, the length or the width or what?
The length, so we would propose to go from 17 and a half feet to bring it down to 14 and a half feet.
Hold on, I've lost mine.
Sure.
Was that big? I like mine because I had it. So 14 and a half on the length. You propose. Keep going.
Okay. And that would be taken off of the north side.
In other words, the side closest to the creek. Let's see what the north area is. Yeah, so
Yep.
putting 3 more feet not adjacent to the neighbor's property.
Correct.
Okay.
So that would take our horizontal distance, we would be looking for relief of 2 foot 6 inches.
Or 2.5.
2.5. Also, this will reduce the height of the building. It'll bring it down to a maximum of 12 foot in height, which then would be a 3 foot overage.
Right, but what was it previously proposed at?
It was 12 foot 6 inches high. And I would also like to point out to the board that these, the neighboring properties are approximately 18 to 20 inches higher than the ground of our property. That with the 6 foot fence on top is going to make this building seem lower, if you will, to their point of view.
Oh, so on your side of the fence, when it's, your grade is lower or higher?
Lower,
So,
You're talking about the objectant's property?
yes.
how much lower did you say?
Between 18 and 20 inches lower.
A foot and a half, so it would be a foot and a half less visible.
Correct.
Than it would be if you were.
If we were level, yes.
So, and the fence is a 6 foot fence, okay.
Correct.
6 foot on your side.
Yes, but the 6 foot is, along this edge is actually, it's not really a retaining wall, it's up higher at this very edge.
So on the neighbor's side of the fence, does it look like 6 foot to them?
Yes.
And 7 and a half to you?
Yes.
Okay.
My property's basically 18 inches lower than theirs.
Pardon me?
My property's basically 18 inches lower than theirs.
Right.
Right.
So.
We get it.
Think, so if
Get it.
you put a compliant structure of 9 feet high there, and you were at the same grade, they would see 3 feet. Now, if you put it non-compliant, they'll see half they would see half of it. So they would see
Basically,
a foot
yes.
and a half of a 9, roughly, if you put a 9, okay.
Okay. Then as far as the cabana, we would be willing to move the cabana another 2 foot from the property line to give us a 5 foot setback to the cabana.
So no side yard variance.
Well, I know you had mentioned that before, but I believe because we're calling it a cabana, cabanas are supposed to be 10 foot. And that was, yeah, section 252-A6.
But is not having a 10, is that?
Now, if it were a regular structure or a house, we could place it 5 foot from the property line.
That makes no
If
sense.
it's not 10 feet back, is that generating just
That I don't. I think it's just the side yard.
Okay.
So in placing it now 5 foot from the side yard, we would also push it approximately 2 feet to the north, so we're not right on top of the hot tub.
He's got to get through.
And 2 feet to the north, let's see. So instead of approximately 7 feet of it being behind the one, the Rossi property, for lack of a better way to refer to it, maybe 4 feet of it would be behind their property, approximately.
Approximately, yes. We're trying to keep a good distance from the hot tub. We do not want to change the location of the cabana greatly due to we have the wheelchair lift in its close proximity. That was done on purpose. We really don't want to relocate the cabana any further than we have to from this point of the pool for access and just to be as close as possible to the chairlift. You know, that's the whole reason that we're doing this, is to have this bathroom facility as close as possible.
Did you say 3 or 2?
2. Yes, that covers what we were looking to do. No, I believe they were looking for some more.
All right, so why don't we hear from the neighbors as to these proposals, and then the board will then, with, you know, in our deliberations, just figure out what the right equation is and, you know, decide on what variances make sense.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're going to stay here, though, so. Yes. All right, folks. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, Lisa Casey, 3031 Davis Place.
Alfred Rossi, 3032 Davis Place, Oceanside.
Florence Rossi, 3032 Davis Place.
Okay, who's first?
Okay. One question I have is, he says shrinking it down the horizontal width from the north side.
Wait. Just when you say it, say which
This is
structure.
the bar.
Okay.
He's saying the north side. The property runs east to west, so I don't know what side he's talking about.
The side, I believe he means the side closest to the creek.
Yes.
He's going to take it off the creek side.
Yes.
All right. And he's talking about the cabana, moving it over and putting it out 5 foot. The distance to the property really wasn't a problem. I mean, if something is 3 feet away from my face or 5 feet away from my face, it's still in front of my face. I don't care. You know, if you take, this table is 3 foot wide. So the original proposal was making it 3 foot. So now he wants to move it out 5 foot.
And down 2 feet.
You know, you put something in,
In front of her face.
yeah, and he's moving it more towards her. You know, if you put something 3 feet in front of my face or 5 foot in front of my face, it's in front of my face. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
know,
kind of thought that.
So, you know, our original proposal to move, keep the bar exactly like it was. I thought we were being reasonable, keeping it the exact way that they drew it up, to the width, the height, and the whole thing, just move it down. His objection to moving it down is, now it's going to be more in his eyesight from his house. He's got 140 feet of property, and now he's worried because now it's going to be 10 feet closer to his property where he was putting it. I got a 40-foot backyard. He was sticking it in my face. You know, he doesn't want to move it because now it doesn't look like, you know, it's a little off balance. Now I'm going to see more of my structure, okay? As far as the cabana where it is, what does that have to do with the chairlift? Do you mean he's going to go in the pool, come out, and go and take a piss right away? Is that why? Pardon my French. What's the location of the cabana have to do with the chairlift?
Well, I happen to think that it would absolutely be relevant to have the facilities that may be necessary in the same area. I assume they'll have a chair out there too, so he gets into the pool from the chairlift, from the, you know, the chairlift, gets back in the wheelchair, can wheel in and out of the restroom. I mean, it's not my, I don't want to, it's no more of that is really I feel like it's private business in a way, but I mean, it seems completely relevant to me to have the necessary facilities for this person in close proximity to the chairlift and where he gets out. That seems reasonable. I know you prefer to have it, I don't know, way far away or on the other side, but that is seemingly a reason. I mean, I can understand wanting it there, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So what you're saying is every time he goes in the hot tub and to the pool.
I'm not saying when he's going to use the restroom. I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense to have a necessary facility in close proximity to the chairlift.
I can agree with you. I don't see what the difference would be from moving the chairlift from the right side to the left side and then moving the cabana to where the bar is.
Wait, say that again.
So moving the chairlift from the right to the left of the hot tub, and then moving the cabana to the bar, putting the cabana on the bar side.
Okay, I'm following you so far. And putting
the bar on the other side of the property.
I mean, I'm going to guess they're going to say the bar goes with the fire pit, but either way, you know, how would that help? I'm just curious.
How would it help?
Yeah, so moving the bigger structure behind your house and this.
Oh, no.
No. Moving the bar on the opposite side of the property.
Oh,
near
over
the
there.
accent wall.
Well, I have a.
I understand.
Can I say something now?
Wait, are you finished?
I'm just saying that I agree that perhaps, you know, the cabana, you know, should be near the chairlift. I agree with that, and I agree that, you know, a restroom is a necessity.
Right.
I don't know whether a 14-foot cabana is a necessity, but if it was just moved to the other side and closer to the home, rather than having a bar, which is not a necessity, I don't think that you need plumbing or any of that sort of thing for the bar. And there's no real reason why the bar can't be moved to the other side near the accent wall. And there's plenty of room for a fire pit and lounge chairs and everything else on the opposite side near the Farski's property, where their cabana is.
Is that half, you know, that half, how do I call it, the rounded structure in the back of the home, I'm assuming is that a deck, a grade, or is that a overhang, if you know?
It's it's a deck where there are pillars holding the deck up, but it's an overhang. So there's just a concrete base underneath that.
The roof over the deck.
In other words, would I walk under there?
Yeah, you can.
It's a complete patio underneath that structure.
Right, okay.
Right. So there's, you know, I mean, there's obviously room down there for a bar. You know,
Well,
there's no,
okay.
if you wanted a space for, you know, drinks and food and stuff like that, sure. Underneath the deck, I actually think that would be perfect.
Well, did you, whatever.
We spoke to the architect and we made these suggestions, and he apparently went back to the homeowner who was not happy about really anything and decided to give 2 feet back. And that was it.
I want to say something now, please, about the bathroom in the cabana area. I agree that there should be a facility for the son. but I'm in total disagreement as to why it can't be moved to the opposite side of the yard. We're not asking the gentleman to walk miles away. It's just a distance away, perhaps not a great distance in my opinion, and the main structure would be on the other side of the yard next to our neighbors, the adjoining neighbors. Listen, we didn't even ask, like my husband said, for the bar to be reduced. We could keep it where it is. We're not looking to move the cabana other than to the other side of the yard. And again, the son would have complete accessibility. It's going to be a paved yard, I'm assuming, so the son can have accessibility. We're not, I think, being unfair. That's all I can say about that bathroom area.
I thought it was we were quite reasonable that we says, listen, keep your bar structure the same. I know you want this big fancy bar. It's got to be 17 and a half foot. I don't know where the half foot came in, but it's going to be 17 and a half foot and the whole thing. The only thing we were requesting was move it down, but now he's objecting because now the structure is going to be closer to his viewpoint. In other words, it was 10 foot. The cabana, I mean, that could be relocated anywhere. I mean, I'm sorry he's in the wheelchair, but if he can go any place, he can go. It's accessible in the whole yard. It's, I mean, I know he could probably go for a variance to put a bathroom inside, which would make it even easier, So, he does have options. It doesn't have to be right in our face. He's being unreasonable to say that. And our outcome is going to be, if he's going to be so unreasonable, build everything to code. Just turn around, build everything to code, and then I have no problem. Then you could stick it where you want, because if you're going to build it to code, you can't put the cabana where it is, because if it's got to be 10 foot from the property line, it's going to be in the pool. So then he would have to relocate it to the other side of the yard if he built it in code. We're asking him to build it to the other side of the yard, do your 3-foot setback on that side of the yard. So we're going to just turn around and say, know what? Our decision is build everything to code, build a cabana 10 foot off the property line, and then now you're going to have a problem to where you're going to put it, and build a bar to code, build it 9 foot high as a lean-to, 9 foot in the front, coming down 8 foot in the back, and there'll be no peak. Put it where you want, I thought we were reasonable asking to move it down, keeping it the way you planned, a 17 and a half foot bar, really big and everything else. Move it down 10 lousy feet in a 140 foot yard. You don't want to move it, you're unreasonable. You don't want to move it down 10 foot and move the cabana to the other side, which is accessible. It doesn't have to be near the chairlift. There's no reason, any reason at all, why your bathroom has to be next to the chairlift. I can't see that point why it has to be next to the chairlift. I don't see the point of that at all.
Is that it? Okay, because we're going to call the applicant back up to try to see if he has anything else to say, and then we're going to close the hearing.
Okay.
Since there's been no agreement, the board will ultimately make a decision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
As far as we're concerned, if you can't come to agreement, just build it to code.
Thanks for coming.
And that's it.
Okay.
Listen, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And all my drawings and everything else. I try to present it the best way that we can, and I appreciate your time and effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
What I would like to say is that we are trying to give them some relief, not moving the structure, but taking 3 foot out of the structure kind of would have the same effect as sliding it down 3 feet. We're not looking to drastically change this backyard that they have worked with a designer on to get the whole comprehensive plan of this backyard with their son in mind. And the only other thing I noticed is they seem very willing to push everything off onto whoever, their other neighbor on the other side, to move all these structures and push everything over to their side. But my client is quite happy with the layout, the way it is now, and the offerings that we've made to try to make this a better situation.
May I ask you if in the over satellite view, there are 5 squares near where the bar is proposed along the fence. They look to me like they might be air conditioning units. What are those? Is that what they are?
That's construction material.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure because you can't tell.
Okay, is that it?
I have spoken to him several times over the fence from the yard, and I told him what my plans were. I told him what I was doing. I told him I was building a bar, I was building a cabana, and so on and so forth, and where it was going, and they never said a word to me about anything. They were very nice about it. Oh, just leave me opening the fence so we could use your pool. I said, no problem. You can use my pool anytime you want, so on and so forth. So they knew what I was doing, okay? They knew what I was doing. That's the first thing. Second thing, my problem is 18 inches lower than theirs. The county requires me to put up a fence. How high? How high?
5 at least.
Once the fence goes up, what are they going to see anyway? They're going to see nothing. Once the fence goes up, they're not going to see anything.
Well, they will see the tips.
I mean, they'll see the roof of that building, maybe, the roof of the cabana or something, but they're not going to see anything. Right now, I'm looking into the yard. There's all bushes, okay? I can't see, unless I'm up on my deck, I can't see into their yard. They got all bushes there. They got a rusty old shed there against there. They got the cabana. I'm not complaining about the rust. Does he have a permit for his cabana? For his shed? I don't know. I didn't ask him. It's none of my business, and so on. But once that fence goes up, what are they really going to see?
They will see the tips of some of the structures that are proposed.
Very much,
Even if you have a 7.5 feet, theoretically,
I mean, it's lower than that.
they'll see a foot or two of the peaks. Are they all proposed? I should ask, were they?
Yes.
Peak? So the.
All match. It's like I say, it's a comprehensive plan for the backyard, the design.
Right, but versus a square, it will be, if they're seeing a 1.5 feet, let's say on a 9-foot, theoretically, right, it'll be this much, right? Okay.
My son's in a motorized wheelchair. He can't walk and he can't talk. That's the fault of that, and Nassau County University Medical Center. They did that to my son. My son made $500,000 a year. You know what my son did? My son built restaurants. I owned Salt on the Water in South Merrick. I owned Mesita and Rockwell Center. I owned Ainsworth and Rockwell Center. I own Mesita in Garden City. That's what we do for a living, my son. My son built restaurants. That's what we did. Okay? And Nassau County Medical Center put him in that damn wheelchair.
It's a little dark in the Garden City Mesita, just so you know.
Is it really?
Yes.
Let me know. I'll fix it.
I was trying to do my crossword puzzle there once.
I'll fix it. No problem.
Like
I can always put better lighting in it. I did complain about the music was too loud in Ainsworth.
It was loud that day.
All right. Lower the music in Ainsworth, too.
Okay,
It's a
so
situation. But
do I have-
that's what we do. And that's probably why my son wanted the bar so long, because he builds restaurants. We build restaurants.
do I have,
He wanted to, but he needs to get around that yard. Because he's in a big wheelchair. The wheelchair alone weighs 400 pounds. And for me to push him even at 75 years old has gotten very difficult now. My life has changed. I'm married 50 years, and my wife, our lives have changed drastically in the last 5 years. I bought this house. I sold 2 houses to buy this one house for him. Okay? I turned this house into a smart home. Everything is done through his telephone. Unlock the doors, open the shades. Everything is done through a smartphone now. Fair? Everything. Everything in his yard is going to be done the same way. Through a smartphone. He's able to unlock the doors to get into the cabana and everything else by himself. Because someday I'm not going to be around.
Hope you have an elevator.
I had to put an elevator in the house, yes.
Yeah.
Because the house is 8 feet up.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as putting that's the problem. I'm actually considering putting another elevator outside on the deck. So you go from the ground floor to the deck. So you can take the elevator outside instead of going through the whole house to get up to the first floor. I'm thinking of putting an elevator in outside, a lift outside even. So I may be back here asking for a variance for that damn thing. In order to get up to the deck. People have no idea what really happens with a person with this kind of disability until you actually do it. Okay? And I've been living his life for the last 5 years. I was semi-retired. I was retired for 6 months, then he had a stroke. I've been living his life now for the last 5.5 years. And believe me, it's no joke.
He's
I got
fortunate.
him in the urinal every night.
He's
All kinds of
fortunate to
stuff.
have you as a father.
What?
He's fortunate to have you as a father.
I appreciate it. Everybody tells me that. I love my son.
I understand that.
you know? And I'm going to get what he wants. That's simple. This is what he needs. This is what he wants. I'm going to give it to him.
Thank you. Anything else?
That is our case. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Do we have a motion or any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. What do I do about this? He wants to talk again, this guy. I'm going to have to close the case.
Yeah.
John.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. John. He wants to say one more thing.
All right. Have at it.
Mr.
Just
Chairman,
one more
I'll
thing,
withdraw my
and that's
motion
it.
For a short remark from one of the gentlemen here. Yeah, make
Go
it
right
quick.
ahead. Make it quick.
He's talking about building a fence, and it's going to block my view. Like they said, they're 1.5 to 2 foot down. He puts up a 6-foot fence, it's going to be 4 foot high.
No, it's the opposite.
No.
His land, he says, is lower.
Right. So
So
if he
he-
puts up a 6-foot fence, it's only 4 foot high on my side.
But I believe he said he's putting it on where it's 6, I specifically asked that question. Where he's putting it, it'll be 6 feet on your side, and he will be down, it'll be roughly 7.5 feet. That's what I understood the testimony to be.
He can't put a fence 2 foot higher than his property and then start a fence. He's got to start a fence at his property.
I thought the testimony was that there was some sort of concrete, something lower that would, so that he would bring with the goal of bringing the fence up to make sure you had 6 feet on your side.
You're telling me he's allowed to build a 2-foot wall so he can put a fence 6 foot on it before?
All I'm going to tell you is that's what I took the testimony to be, and if he needs variance relief for that, he will have to come before this board. That's all I'm saying is that was what I understood it to be.
Just
said he came to talk to us.
Sir, you said you were going to make one comment. Just so all of you are aware of what this board does is, in many instances, sometimes such as this, one or more of the board members will come out and look at the property. And I would expect that we would have your permission to go on that property as well as your property?
Yes.
On the
Okay.
outside.
Okay, we'll be notified when they come out?
No, we don't really
We don't-
notify. We don't go in your house or anything like that. We just.
We go in the yard. Do you have a dog? Do you have a Rottweiler?
No.
Oh, good. I guess you don't have one either, all right?
Usually when, this is an area that I live near, so I may be one of the people inspecting. Usually I'll take some photos of the front of the house, whatever I want to share with other members of the board. And I usually try to open the back gate if there anyone alarms or anything. I usually just open the back gate to see, I want to see the back of both yards. And that's pretty much it.
Now, if you come out and then you notify us of the decision, and then do we have any recourse of your decision, or whatever decision you make is law, and that's it?
I'll tell you. So
I just know
when the
how
board
it
makes a decision, we do so by deliberating and making a decision. We do it in a public setting. Usually, for example, when we're done here, we will decide some of the cases, not that one, because we want to do some inspections. That will be recorded and videotaped and saved on the website if you wish to access it, or if you want to watch it like next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Some people do. It's kind of boring. But so we will make it a public setting. Once we make that decision, the copy, as soon as it's logged in the records, then a copy of the decision is sent out to everyone who is signed in. Did you put your full address on? You might want to do that. Okay, because I didn't see the number part. Okay, so yes, everyone will get a written copy of the decision once it is made. Usually takes, I don't know, maybe a week, Joe, to get out. But you can find out if it was.
Do we come back here again, or that's?
No, we mail it to you. Oh, and you ask about your recourse. If you are not happy with the decision, anyone has standing to bring an action called an Article 78 in court to challenge it. If you wanted to do something like that, you'd need to at least talk to a lawyer about how that procedure works. But it's called an Article 78. And then, it would proceed that way. If the court, if you did that, that would be a proceeding in court. That's how the system works for challenging our
I
decisions.
have a motion.
Okay,
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. As I indicated, everyone here who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all for coming, participating. We do take it very seriously, and we consider everyone's input in trying to make the best
Do
decision
I
we
have a
can.
second on the motion?
Have
All
a
in
nice day,
favor?
everyone. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Have a nice day, folks. Stay
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have two more cases. Yeah. Mr. Bogle? Patrick?
Okay, next we have case 10622, Elmont Vertiland Homes Incorporated. Variances, subdivision of lot area, front width from and on street line to front setback line, construct dwelling and garage, west side Hillsborough Avenue, 400 feet south of Atherton Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, concerning this case, this concerns a subdivision which was illegally subdivided. One portion of the lot was sold to a good faith third-party purchaser. The board required that Mr. O'Brien, who's counsel on this case, have the third-party purchaser, the good faith third-party purchaser of the other parcel also come in to legalize both lots together. So he's requesting an adjournment to August 9th, so he has more time to work with the good faith third-party purchaser of the other lot so they can legalize both those lots together for a subdivision.
And that other, the construct's not constructed? It's still a construct?
It's still construct, yes. The building, so it's vacant, yes. So this lot is vacant, and the other one was the maintained parcel, which was sold to a good faith third-party purchaser.
You think that he'd want to do it before
Wait, wait,
the
wait.
building period got over, but
That lot was sold by whom to a third-party purchaser?
The contractor. So Vertiland Homes purchased the entire lot. The other lot was sold to the third party, and now they're trying to maintain both parcels.
But he means by Vertiland or by someone who sold Vertiland there?
I believe in this case, Vertiland owned both parcels, and the other one was sold off. I cannot be, I don't know that 100%, though.
Okay, so it's going to be August 9th?
August 9th is what Mr. O'Brien requested it be adjourned to, so he has more time to negotiate with the other purchaser.
Does that work, Mr. Chairman?
I believe it is. It does. 11 o'clock, August 9th. I'll be here.
John just said I'll be.
I'll be here.
John said he'll be. All right, so what do we got to do now? We going to do some decisions? or-
No, we have one more case.
No, that's at 2 o'clock. We got to come back for that.
Oh, okay, all right, great. All right. Cases 202 and 203, Elmont DLMJ Inc. That case is adjourned to May 10th.
We changed it, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Wait a minute.
We did end up hearing it. Remember, he came, that's the guy who
Oh,
came
that,
back.
okay.
So we are going to put that on reserve until he brings back proof that he resolved that matter.
So there's no date set for that. All right, next case. Next cases, 204 and 205 of 2023 Merrick, Fred J. Jones. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 204 to 205 of 23 in Merrick, Fred J. Jones, at 2260 Hewlett Avenue be approved as requested.
Do I have a second?
Is that a temporary grant, Miss, that you're proposing?
Same conditions, fine.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, next case, 206 of 2023, East Meadow, Dr. David J. Miller. Do I have any discussion?
No, it's just.
Oh, that's adjourned to 4-5 at 9:30.
Duh.
No, it's 4-5.
I know, I put it on there wrong, okay?
Next case is 207 and 208 of 2023, East Meadow, Dennis and Tina Gayadine. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I will move as it relates to case 207 of 23 and 208 of 23 in East Meadow, as you've described it, affecting the property located at 2551 Tonquin Street, that the requests be granted as requested.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain? Any opposed? Next cases, 209, 10, 11, and 12 of 2023, and for some strange reason also 217 of 2023. Belmore, Gerard Trimboli. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 209, 213, and 217 for the trellis.
Wait, 9, 13 is, there's no 13.
Oh, I see.
209.
It's.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I thought you were going to
No,
do
no.
something, that's why I was.
The, we do, thank you. You could finish. I move that these cases with the generated conditions be granted as requested.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed,
And
any abstentions?
Conditions, pool,
There is no pool.
pool equipment conditions.
This is pool condition. Yeah. 213 to 215 of 2023. I think we should hold that case, and I think
I'll go take a look at that, Mr.
several of the board members should go and inspect that property, myself included. Next case, 216 of 2023, Oceanside, Chelsea Horowitz. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 216 of 2023, located at 225 Foxhurst Road, Oceanside, be granted as requested.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 218 of 2023, Levittown Chamber of Commerce. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Okay,
Granted. My bad, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Granted from the bench?
Yes.
Yeah, I did it. I forgot to. Yeah. Yeah,
No, I know.
he just, yeah, my bad, it was my bad, I didn't.
Okay. Case 219 of 23 Franklin Square, Anthony Trombetta. Do I have, I'd like to inspect this, if you don't mind.
Yes, I,
Because I'm a bit confused about the
yeah, and
mechanics of the
I
whole
think that, I mean, part of me thinks that we should maybe get the office to have them confirm the drawing is accurate. I think there's a slight discrepancy in what we actually see on the satellite photo and where the drawing shows the garage. It shows it in line.
With the
It shows the
dwelling,
proposal
front
of the
dwelling,
garage.
and
Yeah.
yet The
It really is more in line with the portico, which protrudes, let's say, 5, 6 feet. So maybe Patrick, would it make sense to have Ms. Pangallo check that, and if she needs to make a slight adjustment to that
drawings.
plan to do that? Thank you.
All right, next case, 220 of 2023, Robert Richards. There are several open permits, and do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Kim, is it you?
What?
Do I have a motion?
I don't know if I'm supposed to be making a motion.
Oh, right, it's, however.
Excuse me.
Yep,
We have questions about whether that was a garage or,
correct. I was just gonna say, because she hasn't been to the house. She doesn't know what's in the garage.
Somebody want to inspect it?
I don't think the issue is resolvable by inspection. I think this is the one,
So-
Joe's issue with this, or at least one or more board members' issue, as I understand it, was
The gate.
that despite the fact that there's a 15-foot corridor and it has a garage door on it, the issue is if there's a fence precluding a vehicle from getting to the structure, the issue is it actually properly defined as a garage? Now, granted, she could just remove the fence, frankly, and come in and then put it back up. I mean,
Well, additionally, she said that if it's not a garage, that it'll be storage.
Right, she said she hadn't been to the house either. She didn't inspect.
never
She didn't.
but you're allowed to use your garage for storage. Like, I can have a garage that I use for storage. No, you can, I mean, what you're combining is, no, but what you're combining is, no, listen, I can have a garage as long as I can access it with a car and never put my car in it and fill it, because I do it right now. I'm trying to get mine cleaned out.
That's incriminating.
No, it's still properly defined as a garage because I can use it. Your issue, I think, is more properly described by the fact that you say it cannot be used as a car because it's not accessible.
I defer your comments to council.
We can condition it as for its use, or if we grant the garage and the building department finds that there is no ingress or egress into the garage for a vehicle, I mean, that's them, they'd have to remove the fence in order to get the
Well,
final
that's their
inspection.
issue then. I
So
think
if we
that's the way to
grant
go.
it as requested, then the building department still would say you don't have an ingress and this is not a garage.
Well, if we grant it as a garage and they don't use it that way, then that's enforcement issue.
Or we can also condition the grant, just specifically state what the statute says, which is there has to be an ingress or egress for vehicles into the garage.
well, why don't we just say, though, that it is a garage, so there can't be a gate there unless it's a gate large enough for a
Well, that's basically what he's saying.
car to go through.
I mean, you both work, so we can either just grant it as requested and a gate large enough for a vehicle would have to be installed, but if we want to make sure the building department sees it. Yeah, we want to make sure the building department actually sees it.
Building
I
department.
think it's better to grant it, and he can, in the grant,
Either way,
state
the condition is just repeating what we've
requirements are
already
being
done, which is,
And
hey
then
guys,
the
we
building
need to draw
department
attention to it for the building department.
I don't
I have no
want
problem
police
writing
them
that.
removing the
Board
fence.
knows that there's no access, then the owner shall
I think we
provide
grant it
access
as a
to it.
garage.
Yeah, if you want, if that's the condition you want me to insert, I have no
Garage is
problem.
defined as blah, blah, blah.
I think they have a swimming
They
pool
have
there
to have
too,
vehicle
so.
access, right? And then we don't police.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, wait, you said they had a swimming pool?
I'm in favor of the grant, including the language of what is a garage as an excerpt. So that then, if it is not used that, because we don't have a policing mechanism ourselves unless someone calls us. That way, when it is inspected, or for its CC, or whatever it's given, COCC, then the building department, who does have an enforcement division and an inspection division, will inspect it as a garage with the excerpt that a garage is defined as blah, blah, blah. And I think that does what we need to do, and it puts the proper people in places in terms of the enforcement and inspection. What do you think?
I don't know.
I can put that in the decision, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I just need a motion.
No, but, yeah, but that's an easy drive by to see whether I can get it. No, I don't really.
Which one is she? Well, she did tell the truth. She said they're using it for storage.
I know.
But that doesn't preclude that. You can have garages.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
You don't have to put your car
No,
there.
you can't.
Oh, really? How many days a week do you have to put a car there? Of course you can. You have to put your car in.
It's above storage.
No, you're not allowed.
No, you can have storage. You don't have to ever put your,
Wait, get the
if you had to put your car in the garage or lose the definition of garage, I mean, Joe, I say, I'll make a motion. Is it mine anyway to do?
No, Kim's.
Oh, Kim.
Yeah, but
go
you
ahead.
do it anyway.
All right. I'll do it, Mr. Chairman. I move that case 220 of 2023 North Westbury, Richard Roberts, affecting the property at 948 Mirabella Avenue near Westbury, be granted as requested with information provided in the decision of what a garage is defined as, so that the applicant and the building department are aware of the requirements to stay a garage or to be categorized by the zoning ordinances as a garage. That's my motion.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Someone else second it because Joe's going to vote it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Kim, you can do the next.
Next case.
Article 1 there, Mr. Bogle?
Do,
Definition?
Kim, do you want me to do this one?
Wait a minute.
Because it's a secret.
Which one? Como?
Como.
Okay. Oh, great.
Who said that?
Joe,
You said it was a good restaurant.
Joe, you need to pay attention here.
Code.
We need to see if this answers the question that you had.
Which question?
She dropped it off. What did you want, Joe? You wanted to know if it was allowed?
It's a store with an apartment. Yeah.
Wait, but did you, okay, if I have a store, leaving outside parking for a moment, if I have a store and I start making Chinese food in it, do I need to have a change of use permit?
Yes.
Because I know some, only because
Yeah.
some, remember, restaurants with less than 12 seats are retail in a way. That's why I'm asking.
That's debatable.
Well, okay, they've always been treated for
Yeah.
parking purposes
Yes.
as retail unless they have more than 12 seats, right? That's what they always used.
That's true.
Okay, so that's why I didn't know if we need to change it.
That's based upon, that's based upon the list itself. Non-conforming.
Well, what?
The store would be a retail store. The restaurant requires the more parking. It tricks them.
Well, but so one thing, John, and you may know this, what we've always traditionally done, the building department, not us, is it used to be if you had just for parking,
In 2
you had a
weeks, we come
store
back in 2
and you
weeks.
convert it to a restaurant with level of 12 seats or less, I calculated the parking and the use. So that's why I was just asking, that's the parking lot, yes.
And now? Okay.
Well, no, we have more than that, but I'm just saying,
What color?
they may have bought it as a Chinese takeout.
No
If not,
imagination.
that means seats, and they may have would have converted it to restaurant for that.
Not your
You know what I'm
office.
saying? So, Joe, what, stop, we need to
We're
deal with this
talking
case.
about this
Oh,
case.
thank God. So, what do we need to do to determine whether or not we can resolve this case today?
Well, I think we should ask Mr. Bogle to do a draft condition, draft grant.
Okay. So,
The
we're on
restaurant.
the restaurant.
But what are we doing about the outdoor?
Because what's being
Okay, so the building department did go out and they met with the owner and the applicant to get into the basement of the. Yes, this is the one, right. So they were able to get into the applicant's basement. They went through the applicant's basement. There, they found no violations in the applicant's basement.
We're still following up on the other storefronts. For the purposes of this application, there is no violation by the applicant, the lessee for this parcel.
The one they were able to get into that had the violations, they did give them some.
Okay, is it an illegal basement or a basement that's being used illegally?
A basement that's being used very illegally.
And only one of those, that allegation's been made against?
Yeah, so yes, so the neighbors said that there was something going on in the basement of one of the structures, at least.
Not this applicant, but
Not this applicant, the neighboring, the other lessees.
one or more?
Yeah, so we already have an NOV issued on the one that we have confirmation that they were violating, they had occupancy in the basement.
And how do we get that confirmation?
They let him in,
Building department? Okay, great.
They let him in.
It's a finished basement.
Can I see that?
And
Okay.
they had key lock rooms.
Oh, that's right, I remember you saying.
It's all part of, really?
Massage parlor by day probably, and a boarding room by night.
Key lock doors.
Little more than that. Whatever.
And what, if I may, just for my edification, is the building department do in this situation? Besides issue a summons? Do they, for example,
Contact.
start a proceeding to have them remove it? Yeah, that, and start the process of having it, like these improvements removed, or?
So they have to go to court and they had to show that they cleared up the violations before. They'll continue to go out there, hit them with fines until the violations are cleared up.
And, okay, and does can you? That he might, if they were doing certain otherwise illegal activities, maybe Al should shoot a little note over to NCPs.
Okay. Yeah, the advice to the NHS.
Yeah, I think that should be a standard operating procedure. Okay, so hold on. I am still inclined, John, will you turn off your microphone?
With respect to case 848 of 2022, Almont KTK Group LLC, located at 1763-1791 Dutch Broadway. I move to deny this case.
I'll second.
Oh, I guess I have a second. All in favor of denial?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Take it. All right. Next case, 181 of 2023. Do we have anything on that? Mrs. Perry?
I did go look at it. It's a very well-maintained house, very pretty. Maintain the cellar entrance. I did not see, I guess I wanted to pull the plans because I didn't see where the cellar entrance was. It's definitely not on the garage side. They had a fence to the left next to a very unsightly, unkept house, but it was very tall, so I couldn't see in there. I don't know if it's in the back of the house or not.
We could maybe pull the plan.
Yeah. Can we do
Pull
that?
the site plan.
Okay, we'll hold it. Pull the site plan.
Yeah.
Did you inspect this one also, Mr. Regano, or no?
No, I did not. Next case is 183 through 187 of 2023, North Belmore, La Monica. Did Mr. Pellegrini?
I did inspect this. They do have a cellar entrance that encumbers the entire side yard. The other side of the house is completely exposed. I don't think that this would be that the cellar entrance is an issue.
You don't think it's an issue?
No, I
Okay.
think it, and it doesn't appear that there's a second use for that cellar entrance. The fence, though, on the 6-foot fence on Henry Street does all the way to the street line. It's
Forward of the
unfortunate.
dwelling?
Yes, it's forward of the dwelling.
Completely.
So,
He's got an odd-shaped piece of property. Unfortunately, people happens all the time that they're built without permits. Had it been built with a permit, we would not have necessarily.
Do we have the site plan? I want to see to remind myself which one it is.
That's the one.
Oh, that's the one,
inside.
oh, okay.
So I would move that the case be granted,
Which one?
the one except for the fence, that the fence.
So
Go ahead.
83, the fence is the second to last case, so that would be
Case
86.
I move that cases 183, 184, 185, and 187 be granted as requested, and that case number 180.
Usual pool conditions.
Is there a pool?
Yeah, install pool.
Okay, yes, thank you. And that the 186 be granted temporarily with a 10-foot setback.
So granted in part, denied in part, because you're denying the fence
Yes.
wherever it is.
Where it exists.
Wherever
Yes.
it exists in the 10-foot setback on the front of the property.
Yes, set it back 10 feet on Henry Street.
I have a second.
Second,
All in favor?
usual fence conditions.
Usual. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions?
Good job, I think that's the right answer.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Mr. Pellegrini,
I neglected to look at this.
we'll hold that. West Hempstead.
Okay, yeah, in this case, 191-23, I provided an email to the board. I looked into the permits. There was a grant back in 2016 for multiple variance requests, including a side yard variance. However, there was no maintained cellar entrance in that descriptor, but the cellar entrance was included on the site plan. So we granted a side yard variance with the cellar entrance located on the site plan, but in the relief requested in the descriptor, there was no maintained cellar entrance on that application.
This maintained cellar entrance has never come before us in words.
Not in words, exactly. The side yard, though, variance was granted by this board in 2016, and the cellar entrance is located in the side yard, and it was on the plans that we
Yeah, but
previewed.
If they never asked for that side yard, that cellar entrance, then we did not grant it. Because it would not have been notified to the neighbors, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So as a practical matter, then, they would have to come back then to maintain a side yard cellar entrance.
Okay, but
But as it relates to the actual application in front of us, the AC units, I think this would be something as we could grant the AC units and then direct the building department to issue a notice of violation for the cellar entrance in the side yards, they'll come back to legalize the cellar entrance.
Okay, that's,
And you'll condition that grant to say that it did not include the cellar entrance.
Correct, yeah, I can specify that. You want to grant
Yes, I think it should be.
The side yard is applicable only to the AC units and is not applicable to the cellar entrance located on whatever.
All right, oh, so are you gonna, you're gonna write it, it's gonna be, you're gonna write a draft grant, so we're not gonna make a motion now?
It's up to you guys. I can do a draft grant, or we can make a motion.
Do a draft.
I think a draft grant.
Draft, okay.
Next case is 192 and 93 of 2023. I'm recused.
Yeah, we didn't have a majority vote at the last hearing. We only had 3 members because you were recused and Ms. Adams had to leave early. So now that we have 4 members who can vote on this, we needed a motion on that.
Okay. Do we have a motion on 192 and 93?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will move that cases 192 and 193 of 2023 in Franklin Square, Dina Mancini, affecting the property at 833 Hemlock Street, be granted as requested with the usual mother-daughter conditions.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain? Any opposed? Cases 195 to 197 of 2023. Can we hold that, please?
Why is that italicized?
I don't know.
That was we amended the caption to include higher and larger as opposed to just larger.
Okay, I like that. That's a good idea to italicize it. Okay, that's.
I'm gonna hold that.
To inspect.
As related to 199 of 23, I did provide a draft grant. However, I spoke with Mr. Benesso. He's asking if we can hold this for a little bit longer because he's speaking with his engineer to widen the curb cut to make ingress easier for people who are parking in the lot and not just people queuing on Sunrise.
Okay.
Relating to case 201 of 23, that's Public House located 346 Newbridge Road. I provided a draft grant to the board. I believe Mr. Pellegrini had a couple of edits. Specifically, he wanted me to define what a cabaret is pursuant to Town Law 96-1A, which is included in the amended decision, as well as making sure that the rear door is closed, and there's no parking of commercial vehicles to as related to the tenant, because obviously there's going to be other tenants there that may violate that, but specific to Public House, they cannot park commercial vehicles. And I believe that's generally everything.
Take the sequel.
Well done. Well done.
You want to make a
So
motion?
I move that case number 201 of 2023, that the board adopt a neg deck and declare this as an unlisted action.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
And then I move that case 201, Route 206 to Public House, that it be granted with the conditions that Mr. Bolger had put together.
Enumerated. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay. Relating to case number 630 of 2264 Mineola Avenue, I provided another draft grant to the board. Specifically, the concern on this case was the structure located on the roof is not considered a story by the building department. So I put in 3 whereas paragraphs basically describing why it is not considered a third story. It is less than, the roof of it is less than 6 feet. It is used specifically only for storage, and it cannot be converted into living space. The deck shall not be enclosed. As this is a new house, I also included our usual new home conditions as they apply, and all restrictive covenants. Well, we have to file restrictive covenants if this was to be granted. And lastly, there's a condition that says they cannot subdivide the parcel.
All right, so we're going to hold that till the next meeting.
Not a problem.
Anything on the referral calendar?
I don't believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Any administrative?
I will start with the extensions of time.
Mr. Pellegrini. Mr. Pellegrini.
They are all timely, according to Gail, and I trust her. First case is 538 of 22, located 35 Leanne Terrace in Wantagh. This is a case, it was a mother-daughter application where they didn't get the verification in time. 538 of 22. 538 of 22. They didn't get the verification in time for the mother-daughter, so they needed more time for the extension time on that case. 249.
To secure their permit.
Right, so exactly. They didn't get the permits because they didn't get the verification in time to us, because they didn't file the verification, then they get the permits.
So now to secure the permits, they're in a position to secure them.
Correct, the verification was
So we
filed.
don't need them too much time.
249 through 251 of 17. 249 and 251 of 17, 746 Sunrise Highway in Baldwin. This was the storage of vehicles in the Residence B zone. They had to go back to the NCPC to discuss the curb cuts, so that took a lot of time for them to, and then they finally got the approval from the Nassau County Planning Commission. Now they need 305 site plan approval, which is why they haven't been able to, this is permits again as well, yeah, this is good permits on this.
7 times?
I'm just telling you what they wrote.
I forget what the difference was.
This is an empty lot at this point, and it came under controversy a couple of times.
Yeah, but what do they want to put there?
Store out cars. Motor vehicle inventory storage will cease at the time of closing,
Where
whenever
is
they're
this?
going to close.
Wait, they're going to cease motor vehicle storage? I just don't remember keys, that's why I apologize.
It's an old one.
They want to do multiple family redevelopment to construct by the vendee. The motor vehicle inventory storage will cease at the time of closing of title by the developer, contract vendee.
So have they closed?
If they close on, I don't know if they
It
close.
probably won't close until the variance. There's a decision on the variance.
Well, the
If
variance
we have a
was
decision, they
decided.
they
They
need
just want
extension of time to secure the permit.
they've had 7
Oh.
extensions of time so far. It's from, case from April of
Where's it from?
2017 and then again in 19.
This is,
And I like the idea of moving the
south side of Sunrise Highway, just west, east of Grand.
I think I remember this one. Look, so, they were prepared, and the applicant, application was filed with the town site plan approval, which is pending. The subject property was approved by the town board for multiple family redevelopment by the contract vendee. The motor vehicle inventory storage will cease at the time of the closing of the title to the developer contract vendee. So they should have ceased the cars,
Yeah.
right?
Did they?
That's why I'm asking.
Did they cease using that for
Cars.
motor vehicles?
If I can make a suggestion, this might be a situation in which we call back in the applicant
I'd like that.
and put on the record, those 4
Yeah.
extensions of time, put on the record exactly what's going on.
I agree.
And,
And tell them, they need bring us photographs of what it looks like right now.
Yep.
And I don't mind you mentioning that we were wondering if they'd ceased, since it seems title's closed, they'd ceased, because otherwise they can keep getting extensions and so on.
So JCTL Associates of Use.
Yeah, that was a 5-family, multifamily dwelling, 365 to 367 to 22. They retained a new architect, and they filed a supplement with the building, so they filed a supplement with the building department, and then they retained a new architect, so now they need a new architect of record to file the supplements, apparently.
What's the supplement, more houses or what?
No, it doesn't change any of the variances. If it would change the variances, it would be denied and sent back to us.
Right.
It's just reconfiguring.
So what do they need to do?
They need
I know
to
the
show
request
the
is-
building department that they have a change of architect.
Right.
They may have to update their plans.
Right.
So they still have to go through the building department?
Correct.
Yes.
So that may be a 9-monther. What do you think, Jim? All right.
It should be, whatever.
Okay.
It should be, they should be able to take care of it.
And the last one was, this concerned, this is in Inwood, it was the warehouse we approved where they changed the configuration of less storage and more offices. They got to go through 305 site plan approval. That's taking a little bit of time upstairs, so they need a little bit more time.
All right.
How long?
He
9
says
months?
9.
It's going to take a while to get through that site plan, right?
I'd give them 9. I mean, I think more time would be.
Yeah, 9 months or a year.
All right.
Okay. Next thing I have, this concerns, I know we talked about this at last hearing, but this is the HUD, the Housing Urban Development case again. In order to conform with the conditions of having a 15-foot natural barrier,
I have to go.
this over here, I took this, so this over here, it was originally approved, this was right on that line. So they didn't have enough space here to put
The driveway.
Yeah, the driveway, put 15 foot. This is a new plan, and in this plan, they created a 20-foot buffer so they can put the 15-foot there.
That's
And they also lowered this building, because they moved it over, they lowered this building, and they put more space here. So it overlooks, so they would just need to
And
approve.
is this where that guy lives? That
Yes,
house is
the
all
one, the
white?
main complainants were right here.
Yeah, which they have their house cleared up.
So we would just need a motion to amend the decision to adopt the amended
I'll
plan.
make that motion. What's the case number?
Oh, jeez. I should have had it on there. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It might be on here if they properly stamped it. Well, they may not have stamped
Well,
it.
this is brought in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got
That's a great change.
Rob,
And I
what
love
was
the high.
What's up?
What was the actual applicant?
The applicant was.
Town of Hempstead? No.
Yeah. Not but yeah. He probably mentioned it.
And you worded it no less than 15 feet, right?
Correct, no less than 15 feet, they can go higher.
I keep looking out there for a moment out of my peripheral vision, thinking it's a guy standing there.
Oh, the cutouts?
Yeah, I only see
I got
one.
it. It's case number 97 of 23.
Okay, I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case 97 of 2023, which is the Town of Hempstead Senior Housing Authority, I hope. Town of Hempstead Housing Authority. And its request to rebuild the senior housing facility in Franklin Square. I would move that the amendment proposed by the applicant to facilitate the proposed 15-foot or greater green barrier living fence along the northeast side, that we accept the amended plans, which create a 20-foot green space and move slightly over the driveway so that that green space and the concomitant 15-foot or greater green barrier can be installed, butting the residential neighborhood as the residents would have requested.
Have a second on that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next I have, apologies, give me a second. Next I have, this is a modification request. It concerned, we actually, way back a year and a half ago, they proposed a modification to maintain, so they have their mother is not a two-family, but their mother lives with them, and she lives on the first floor. She's had difficulty walking, and there was a condition that required them to have a half bath on the first floor, not a full bathroom. They're requesting a modification of the condition to allow them to have a full bathroom on the first floor.
How many kitchens?
How many kitchens? One kitchen. It's not a two-family.
Huh, why did we only want?
The reason why it wasn't approved before was they also wanted the board to permit them to have a cellar entrance. And we were not going to grant, the board, if I remember correctly, had no problem with the full bathroom, but they weren't going to grant them.
So did we grant the cellar entrance?
We did not grant the cellar entrance. They're now coming back, and they're not requesting the modification to maintain the cellar entrance. They're just requesting the modification to maintain.
So they withdrew that?
They withdrew that, correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case number 208 and 209 of 2007, which was granted by the board apparently in 2007 or 2008. The applicant has requested a modification, as stated by counsel to the board, to alter the condition that allowed only a half bath on the first floor, to modify that and or to just eliminate it, I guess, so that the applicant may have a full bath on the first floor to accommodate the applicant's ailing mother who lives on that floor in a structure with only one kitchen, so it's not a mother-daughter.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
The next I have is a rehearing request from Todd O'Connell. This is the usual request we received where a subdivision was granted back in 2019. They never picked up the permits. The grant expired. They had no time to get an extension of time. So they're requesting a rehearing of the three-part subdivision that was granted back in 2019. I have the case numbers here if the board is amenable.
I'll make a motion. You're not allowed to. Mr. Chairman, as it relates to cases 553, 554, 555, and 556 of 2019, previously granted by the board, the applicant has requested a rehearing because the applicant failed to pick up the permits in time due to the pandemic and other factors. So I would hereby move that we grant the applicant a rehearing in the above four matters.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Last I apologize for all this. We granted a reopening on a case back in January for Monty Leeper. This was a case in which we granted a parking variance. He went to NCPC. January of this year. He granted the parking. He went to NCPC. They eliminated 2 spaces. He has to come back for a reopening, what we decided. I was told by Gail that procedurally we have to set a date certain on reopenings. We have availability, I talked to Pat about this, on May 10th of
We have to
2026.
set a date certain on reopening.
Reopenings, correct. I guess the
Is it a
Limited.
rehearing? Wait.
It's a reopening.
Okay, we're just but we're reopening to consider.
Consider the
an
NCPC.
elimination of
Exactly,
two.
elimination of two
Eliminate two
spaces because
spaces.
they changed the NCPC.
Okay. And so since.
So we already granted the reopening, the problem is we didn't put a date on it. And does May 10th work? Yeah, so if I could just get a motion confirming that we reopen it for the date of May 10th.
What time?
2 here.
2 p.m.
Am I going to limit the testimony?
You can limit the testimony specific to the parking.
Yeah.
Parking spaces.
By the way, what kind of business is it?
Oh, jeez. Oh, it's a grocery store? Grocery
Just
store.
because I want to remember.
It's a grocery store.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case, where's the case number? Am I just not seeing it?
That is the permit number.
I'll just do it this way. All right, Mr. Chairman, as it relates to the matter of I&D Glatt Market located at 327 Hempstead Avenue, West Hempstead, a matter that came before the board this year and was granted, but later upon review by the NCDPW, the parking was altered, in a minor way. I would move that we grant a reopening to the applicant so that the applicant may provide the information and or the changes required by the NCDPW.
May 10th.
For May 10th, I'm sorry, the date certain of May 10th at 2 p.m.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you all for that. That's all I have.
See you too.
NCDPW.
So, are we all? Did we come back?
I move that we adjourn
Second.
until 2 p.m.
Aye.
Aye.